I was talking earlier about how both sides are so distant from each other right now, and I think the left, frankly, has a little bit more heat on them right now, given the kind of pressure they're trying to put on anyone who thinks differently than them. I think it really questions sort of who we are right now, our identity as a country. This has always been a free place where you're welcome to think and say as you please. This is freedom of speech and freedom of thought. And to me, we should welcome that diversity of thought. We should welcome a diversity in thinking when it comes to policy. But instead, one side wants to shut down the other right now. For more, I want to bring in former Governor Mike Huckabee, who, of course, is the father of Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who was so unceremoniously thrown out of that Little Red Head restaurant over the weekend. And, you know, Governor, first of all, your thoughts just as a dad.
Well, it's an incredible thing when people, in the name of their liberty, want to deny someone else theirs. And if you're in the hospitality business, your number one goal is to be hospitable. The owner of that restaurant was not hospitable. In fact, a little-known part of this story is that after Sarah and her husband left and the family relocated to a restaurant across the street, the owner of the Red Hen then organized an effort to go and scream at them from the sidewalk at the other restaurant. Finally, one of Sarah's in-laws, who happens to be very liberal, it's her brother-in-law, went out in the street and said, look, Sarah's already left. She didn't stay for obvious reasons. She's had all she needs tonight. The rest of us are trying to have dinner. I'm a liberal. I'm not a Trump supporter, but you guys aren't helping our cause. So it wasn't just what happened in the Little Red Hen restaurant. It's what happened ongoing by the owner of that restaurant. Here's what I don't understand, Trish. Look, it's real simple. If I owned a restaurant, I'd want to take all the money I could from every conservative because I'd want to take that money and spend it on the things that would make them mad. But I'd treat them respectfully. I'd treat them nicely, because that's what you do. You don't show your hate, your bigotry, your animosity toward people who are your guest. You open your door, you say we're open for business, then you treat people respectfully. It's pretty simple, really.
Yeah. Were the kids there? Were your grandchildren there?
No, thank goodness. They were with the sitter, and I'm so happy they didn't see that.
I'm happy
They've seen enough, and they certainly have been subjected to some nasty stuff, and that's unfair. It's unfair to them. You know, they're little kids. They're all under the age of 7. This is absurd.
Governor, what does it tell you about our society right now?
It's sick. I mean, it's desperately sick. And you know, there's all these people who are trying to say, oh, well, you know, they deserve it. Nobody deserves to be treated like this. If you want to go to a public meeting where, let's say, Sarah's speaking at a university of campus, and you want to, you know, speak out or even heckle her, that's one thing. But to take on people when they're having a meal with their family, which happened to her, which happened to Kirsten Nielsen, that's really ridiculous.
And Maxine Waters is asking for it to happen to more people.
Terrible.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. What I don't get.
Public official.
You know, I think about it, and look, we always have both sides here. We love hearing from all sides. I think it's important that we understand all sides. I may think one way, you may think another, but bottom line, there is a respect for the diversity of opinion. And what bothers me so much right now is that there is no respect from one side to the other right now, and it's bordered on lack. It's no longer just lack of respect, Governor. It's getting, in my view, a little dangerous, because if your daughter can't go out with her family and be a normal citizen, if Maxine Waters wants everyone who works for the president to be attacked viciously, then what are we left with?
Well, I'll tell you what we're left with. We're left with a country that nobody's going to want to serve in a public capacity. Why would they? The pay's not as great as it is in the private sector, and then to get screamed at, yelled at, and then have someone like Peter Fonda threaten to say, I wish somebody would come to your home, break into your house, and kidnap your children. He should be in jail for that. That's not just a rude comment. That's a criminal comment. That's the kind of thing
somehow
that we
it's
should
okay.
not
They think
tolerate
it's, you know, okay.
in our culture.
to say these things. Just lastly, before I go, Governor, because I know, you know, she's still your little girl, and you're her dad. Do you worry about her right now?
I do. You know, for the first time, I worry because of things that Maxine Waters says. I worry because you've got people on other networks who say that anyone who supports Trump is a Nazi or they're a racist. That's absurd. And frankly, it's denigrating to the people who actually went through the Holocaust. It's incredibly insensitive and disgusting to somehow say that because you support President Trump, that you're a Nazi. I don't know of anyone who supports President Trump who has marched people to crematoriums and murdered 11 million people. Tell me where there's an equivalence there. There isn't one. And Trish, that kind of stuff, it's really disgusting.
I get it. All right, Governor. Well, thank you so much. It's good to talk to you today.